we are told that a US company invests or buys a piece of land or some asset in Turkey. Okay, and this exercise or this example is based in the early 2000s. So the land is purchased on first, or the asset is purchased on 1st January 2000. Okay, when the purchase was made, then the exchange rate was $1 is equal to 542,700 Turkish lira. Okay, and then we are given that subsequently the exchange rates for the end of every year. Okay, so you see the Turkish currency devaluing a lot, and we are also given the inflation rate for 2000, 2001, 2002. So these inflation rates look, Pakistan's inflation rates look tame. Okay, but these were the inflation rates in Turkey between 2000 and 2002. So clearly very high inflation. So the question is, how should the US parent company account for assets, or in this particular case, one simple asset that it owns through its subsidiary in Turkey? Okay, before we answer that question, let us just look at the different possible ways of accounting. We have learned two methods so far, the current method and the temporal method. As a refresher, what happens with the current rate method? How would you translate your asset? Let's say the asset is worth this much initially when you bought it. So actually, this is the asset value in Turkish lira. So 542,700,000. So if this is the exchange rate, from a US perspective, that's simply $1,000. Okay, so when the asset was purchased on 1 January, this was the value, the carrying value in Turkish lira. With that exchange rate, $1 is equal to so many Turkish lira. What is the translated value? Is 1,000. So if you are simply, and then let's say on 31st December, the carrying value normally for a fixed asset such as this, the carrying value does not change. Let's say that this is land where there is no depreciation. So the carrying value is this, but now the exchange rate at the end of the year, 31st December 2000, is 670,800. Okay, so where is this number coming from? 809. Yeah, so all we are doing is, so given the current exchange rate, so we take the carrying value, you divide by the current exchange rate, and this is the value then on the translated value that the US company will show on its own balance sheet. Then a year later, again the currency further devalues and so on. So by the end of December 2002, the value of the asset is 325,000 according to the current rate method. Okay, so this is your current rate method. Now take a look at the second scenario here and tell me which method is being used. Yeah, what's that method called? Yeah, so we are using the temporal method here. What happens with the temporal method? Yeah, so if this is, let's say, land, that's non-monetary, so it is translated at the historical rate. Okay, now when you look at these two methods, do these methods look appropriate in given that your subsidiary is in a country where there is very high inflation? No, so we need something different for a situation where your sub is in a very high inflation country. So what's the issue with the current rate method? You have this possible issue of a disappearing plant or asset where the subsidiary country keeps devaluing. Then on your US balance sheet, it looks like that asset is just slowly disappearing. Okay, at this rate, in another couple of years, effectively the asset is gone. Okay, so that's the issue here. The temporal method doesn't do quite justice to what you really have. Okay, so the method that actually is used by IFRS is as follows. What is happening here is you restate the asset value in the local currency. What's the local currency in this context? the Turkish lira. So you restate based on the new price levels. Okay, where are the price levels? You are given these inflation numbers. So based on that, you can restate the value of the asset given these inflation numbers. So initially, if the asset was 542,700,000 lira, then in 2000 the inflation rate was 38%. So you increase this number by 38% and you have this restated value at the end of 2000. Okay. So then what do you do? So you have a restated value and then you use the current exchange rate on that balance sheet date. On 31st December 2000, you use the exchange rate on that day and come up with the translated amount in dollars. So effectively what has happened here is, even though the currency has devalued, the Turkish lira has devalued, but the value in dollar terms has gone up because the inflation, the price of the land after inflation is substantially high. So in this method, which is the IFRS way of doing things, what do? We adjust for inflation in the local currency and then we translate based on the current rate method. And that's what's happening subsequently. And after translation, you can record a gain or a loss as the case may be. In year one, there is a gain. In year two, the inflation does not quite keep up with the devaluation of the currency. Okay, so this is how things work according to IFRS.